I'm a freedom fighter, Dalai Lama from a weed supplier. I'm Muhammad to the rap game, that's my last name. My first should be Elijah.
Because everybody in the film industry conferences is a filmmaker and a producer and this, that, and the other. So there were so few of me, just like there would be so few of you if you went to those conferences. And so people wanted to do business with me. But then that became not enough for me, and I endeavored outside of the filmmaking industry after doing a couple documentaries into publishing books. And I had written a book, and most people know me for the book that I had written called The Hustler's 10 Commandments. And from Hustler's 10 Commandments came Hustle University, and so on and so forth. With experience in the music industry, applying that in the film industry, filmmakers weren't ready for that. I'm on a film tour, I never went to film school, but I'm making all these moves, you know, with this film, first time filmmaker. People went to school for filmmaking, spent a whole lot of money for filmmaking. They couldn't do what I did, but it's because I took lessons from one industry, applied it to another. The same thing when I got into publishing books. I took what I learned in the music industry and the film industry, applied it to publishing books. And here I am, first time, author, first book out the game, selling tens of thousands of copies. Today I continue to sell tens of thousands of copies of the first book I wrote back in 2006. I built Hustle University from that, and Hustle University represents my movement. So how to turn your music into a movement is really a personal story and journey for me that I went through. I pulled other people that have done the same things to help share with you how you can do the same thing. Stop operating in the small little box known as the music industry, expand and think beyond that, and turn your music, what you're doing, into a movement. So all those supporters you have now become soldiers, and they go to war for you.
I don't like people to know me. I try to put myself in a space where I'm the unknown factor in my artist's success. My relationship is with a lot of DJs. I got my start in Atlanta, probably about 95. I came down here and I linked up with this cat named DJ Nabs, and we did a lot of great stuff. We did a lot of great stuff in the city, old school Sundays. I had a daughter in the height of my situation, and I walked away from it. A lot of the business I was doing was in the strip club, and I couldn't come to bear having a baby girl and then coming home high, drunk, and smelling like strip club. So I walked away, and kind of like what Hotep said, I had to kind of figure out what to do next. And at the time, I was going after artists like Talib, and they weren't really bubbling on the money side of it yet, so I couldn't make any money. So I went to the education field, and my passion is always helping individuals get to the next level, whether it's my artists, whether it's children. And a lot of the kids, the African-American kids, they were 1 foot in, 1 foot out, failing. And I decided to put programs together to teach kids how to understand their lessons.
I'm gonna make it quick so we can get started. There are only 5 groups of people that study personal development. You got kings and world leaders, right? Because it's trippy when you snap your fingers and 1 million people turn to the left. That could get to you. You got scientists and astronauts. They stepping on a planet for the first time. That's trippy, right? You got network marketers. These are people that go from 0 to 100,000 a month, like real quick, no degree, etc., so forth. That can get to you. You got entrepreneurs, and then you got artists. When you hear Drake saying things like, I never threw away that paper with my Grammy speech because I haven't hit the pinnacles I plan to reach, these are clues. When you hear Jay-Z saying, I meditated like a Buddhist, or you hear Kanye saying, I meditated the home in Pompeii about how I could build a new Rome in one day, he's giving you clues. But if you don't study how to develop the science that success is, what is science? Is being able to reproduce something on purpose. Right.
This is how you need to approach your business right here, with this idea. In fact, for most of us, it is a fact. Besides your mama and your daddy and your boyfriend, your girlfriend or whatever, nobody cares about you. Right? They care about themselves. So your job is to make people understand that they should mess with you because it's in their own best interest. It's your job to make people care about you because it's in their own best interest. And that's the whole science and philosophy behind turning your music into a movement. Nobody cares about your music. Nobody cares about what you're doing. You're the best since whatever. They care about themselves. An idea. And because you represent this idea, you'll realize that, you know what? Other people are interested in that idea. So now people don't feel like they have to follow you. They follow this idea, this mission, this movement that you started. You just happen to be the person that started this movement, but they're not following you, they're following this idea. And that way, they realize and believe that's in their own best interest to do so. Does that make sense, ladies and gentlemen?
It's time for us to stop feeling like these ideas are something that a dime a dozen and start realizing that if you were given the vision, then you were given the ability to see it through. As for your music, Hotep just said it eloquently. The whole thing is that music is not a business. Music is a business card. Does everybody get that? Now, we got dumbed down when we learned to talk with our mouth, right? They'll tell you to take out your tonsils. The only reason you should be keeping your tonsils is because tonsils are the only thing that allow you to go om, which is like this God sound. That's when you use the tonsils. So when they take them out, your tonsils ain't there for your voice. You know what I mean? We got dumbed down to start doing that. We start inventing all of these different languages. But there's even clues in the language, right? Like when you see a word like belief and in the middle is a lie. Well, that's there to tell you you can lie to yourself that you can, or you can lie to yourself that you can't. But either way, you're going to make it the truth.
Music is a weapon.
Right?
So, for example, there was a time when people used to get at Tupac and NWA, and they say, oh, this music is making people more violent. Everybody says, oh, no, it's not the music that's making people violent. You know, the music didn't force people to do what they did. And that's true. But let's think about it. Let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen. When you listen to certain types of music, it gets you in a what? It gets you in a mood. That's the power of music. It impacts our emotions. So you listen to racy music, you know, sometimes you want to get in your car, you want to feel a certain way, you play certain types of music to get you in the mood. The same way you play romantic music to get you in a different kind of mood. So pay attention to the things that you listen to, the things that you watch, the things that you read, because all these things are impacting you on a subconscious level, and they're playing out in your life.
Clean always makes more money. Everybody get that, right? There's a system at work. Like, not to sound like one of them dudes on YouTube, right? But what I want you to understand is that... Nah, I ain't one of them dudes on YouTube. No, I'm not.
You bet.
No, dudes I'm talking about.
After today, you are.
But there's a... Okay. Can everybody agree that if I can create a system where I need people to be consumers, then I want them to be consumers? We all on the same page there, right? All right. Now, what if I could play a certain type of commercial for a certain type of lifestyle that would leave the person in fear, sort of like insecure, sort of like in need? Wouldn't that create more consumer? So if my song is like boyfriend number 2, right? Okay, what does that do? That creates a sort of like, it's better for me to be single. Let me create infidelity. Now, since I'm alone, it's movie theaters be like $84.25 for a small soda, versus when you're in a relationship, you go to Redbox for 99 cents. Does that create more consumer culture? When they tell you that a storm is coming to town and everybody clears out the shelves of canned goods and water, does that create more consumer culture? So my whole point is that when you're scared, you're a better customer. When you feel like insecure and like you don't have everything you need, you're a better customer. So we know that there's but that's not the big reason we know that there's a conspiracy at work. The reason we know there's a big conspiracy at work is that 99% of the artists here that we think are headed somewhere sound more like, again, I'm not casting stones, but more like the Gucci Mans than they do the Fugees. And one sold 10 million and one barely goes gold. That's how you know you've been brainwashed.
So then you got people who are confident in themselves, like myself, that hot doesn't necessarily define what I'm going to do when I step into the creative state and make music. I'm not trying to...
I like that.
If I played on a basketball team, I didn't buy my basketball shoes because I thought I was one of the nicest. I bought my shoes because I was the realest nigga in the gym. Right. So when I do music, it's the same way. Like, ain't nobody touching me. This is me. If I'm not my biggest fan, then who will? I can't get nobody else.
You know, somebody's gonna like something and then somebody's not gonna like it. And that doesn't mean it's bad. So, you know, if I'm going into the studio and my creative process, I'm gonna do whatever, you know, I feel like, and I'm gonna feel like, you know, I'm the best. But that doesn't mean the next person gonna think I'm the best or whatever. But when you talk about best, you know, that can be quantitative, you know, like, you know,
we do that. We do this every week. We on the road damn near every week. And before anybody paid us to come, we had to pay to come. So that's when you know you hot and you got something when you believe in it that much that you're willing to put your own money up and go get it.
Do you know, as artists or businessmen and businesswomen, where you truly want to be at the end of the road? Because if you don't know where you want to be at the end of the road, you're going to be walking around aimlessly. And what I say to everybody is, don't go to New York to get to California. When you wake up, if you don't know what you want to get at the end of your day, you're moving wrong. You're going in circles, you know what I'm saying? So what I kind of do is, it's better sometimes in a storm to sit still. So if you sit still and think about where you want to go before you make a move, your path is going to be more direct, a straight line. And if you don't know where that line is, stop, study, understand this craft, understand
You the
this
hottest
business.
out, you the dopest out, you know you dope. You have to live up to the own standard that you set for yourself. Because if you not the dopest, if I hear you and I don't think you dope, then I'm gonna be like, what is he talking about? You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you have to live up to your own standard that you set for yourself. So if you carry yourself like you the dopest, and you just told me you the dopest, if you play something and it's not like hot to me at least, I'm gonna be like, what's up? But you know, at the end of the day though, that shouldn't matter to you. My opinion shouldn't matter to you anyway, because you holding yourself to your own standard. You know what I'm saying? I got a saying, man. I say you can't fake experience. So sometimes you need to go get that experience first. You know what I'm saying? You have to ask yourself why all the time. Why? Why are you here? Why are you in this room? Like, why are you standing here on this panel? You know what I'm saying? Why'd you ask that question? You know what I'm saying? Keep asking yourself why till you can answer your own question.
It's all about relationships. Like, just from my experience, I came from Alpharetta, which is a white community, into the hip-hop world. So for me, I built my brand just reaching out to people and basically showing them what I can do. So for you, how you say your music is the best, then you got to reach out to all these DJs and prove it. But it's really networking over and over and over.
I started my first business when I was in middle school. Like, they put me on 16. I've never had a job, you know what I mean? Like, so I'll tell you what we do as entrepreneurs, which I hope everybody in here realizes that they are or should be one. All right, the first thing we do is put ourselves absolutely in the mind of the customer. Like going back to what Napoleon Hill said, the highest use of imagination is the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes.
This ends up being a jump to your death. You understand? I'm tired of seeing that, personally. I'm tired of seeing people jump to their death with these dreams that they have. They say, Hotep, stop being a dream killer. I say, yo, what's the first step to seeing your dreams come true? Waking up, right? That's what HustleU stands for, waking people the fuck up. I'm tired of people starting these businesses and failing, right? If you're gonna take the steps to hop on a plane to go to another city, at least have a game plan for when you get to the city. You know what I'm saying? This is not to pick on you, big brother. This is for, as we move forward, ladies and gentlemen, all of us should move with strategy and understand that life is a game and you need to learn how to play.
You got a biology degree.
You understand?
That's my dope ass backup plan.
There you go, right? But every move, as Haziq said, he said, what's in it for me? That's his strategy. He said, okay, look, before I move, the question I'm gonna ask is what's in it for me? And if there's something in it for me, if I can see what's in it for me, then I'm gonna move strategically. There's a difference, ladies and gentlemen, between being busy and being productive. There's a difference between being busy and being productive. And I'm tired of seeing people moving around in circles. They don't have the end goal in mind. They don't move with strategy. They have this dream. They take these leaps of faith and they end up nowhere. They end up nowhere, disillusioned, mad at the world. We can't afford any more of this, ladies and gentlemen. So when you move with strategy. What is the game plan? What does success look like to you? Do you have to make $1 million? I've traveled the world on a teacher's salary. Now I make 6 figures. I don't travel as much as I don't travel as much. Ain't that something? My point is, ladies and gentlemen, we need to stop with this dollar and a dream and leaps of faith and figure it out and pray for it and they'll come and build it. We lie to ourselves all the time with these sayings. They don't make no sense. Build it and they will come. Nah, there's plenty of vacant buildings out there right now. Right? Yeah. So think about what you say and what kind of nonsense you feed to yourself. It's not knowledge that makes us powerful, ladies and gentlemen. It's how we use it that makes us powerful.